I am Prince Vegeta. Kneel before your god.
What's going on, YouTube? Andre here with the DM Network. And if you're new to the channel, y'all please hit the subscribe button. We want to grow and we want to bring more Dragon Ball content. My channel is going more towards that. I've been a fan ever since I was little, and I've been a fan for over 20 years, and I love it. And I want to dedicate more of my time and my channel to Dragon Ball because I love it. And if I'm going to be doing YouTube, it's going to be over stuff that I love doing. So this video is more or less my reply to Geekdom and Kendamu's video about Vegeta Super Saiyan Green. And it is a theory-based video that they did, as well as this is going to be theory-based, but I'm going to dive a little bit more in depth to build on what they said and kind of refute some things as well along the way. Now, I will warn you that this video will contain some spoilers from the movie. They are minor spoilers. They don't give away the full plot or anything like that, just minute things. So in their live stream, or not live stream, in the past video that they did with Vegeta Green, they were talking about how in Dragon Ball Super Broly, that Vegeta, when he was transforming into Super Saiyan, there was like a second or a second and a half where his hair and stuff was green, legit green. And Goku did it too, but it wasn't as long as Vegeta's, and it wasn't as prominent as Vegeta's, as in, I mean, it was zoomed in on Vegeta. If you go see the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, what they were alluding to was that this is a foreshadowing to, say, their Saiyan's true form. And I will completely agree with that. And I'm going to go into a lot more detail that's going to actually give more foundation to that, that is their true form. So a little bit of backtrack. If you go back into the Tournament of Power, when Kale transformed into what Broly looks like with the green hair, the green aura, Vegeta mentions that that is possibly the Saiyan's true form. Now, the weakness of this form is that they lose complete control. They lose it, okay? And the thing is that Kale wasn't, the Universe 6 Saiyans don't have tails. You see, so that, and Broly didn't have a tail when he was in this form. Now, people wonder, okay, what if Broly had a tail? What would have happened? Would he have transformed into Ozaru or whatever? I don't know. And the reason why is because there wasn't a moon around. Normally the moon is what causes them to transform into this form. However, there could be a slight possibility that mastery of this form, in a sense, is being able to transform in it without the necessity of the green waves or Blunt's waves. And we'll get to that in a second. It's pretty tasty right there. But what they were saying was that Vegeta and Goku will probably reach this form, or the next form of Super Saiyan will be with green hair and things like that. So it's very, very interesting to talk about this. And the information I'm going to present to you today is going to build an extremely strong foundation to that. So y'all, please stay with me throughout this video. It may get a little lengthy, but I promise you, if you stay to it, you will see exactly what I'm talking about, and it'll build on that. So green, what colors make up green? If you look at a color wheel, yellow and blue makes green. Now, we know that Super Saiyan is yellow. We know that Super Saiyan Blue, of course, is blue. Super Saiyan Blue is Super Saiyan God with Super Saiyan transformation stacked on top of it. Now, here's where there's kind of some loopholes in it as far as Dragon Ball, which we know Dragon Ball, I mean, always has some kind of loopholes and stuff like that. Goku and Vegeta are able to use God Ki in their base form. They are. We saw that when they was training with Whis in that room in his staff. When they collided fists, there was a flash that went over them and they were blue, in a sense. That was a foreshadowing of Super Saiyan Blue, but they were in their base form. And they mentioned that also, and I've done a video on that as well, talking about how they're able to tap into God Ki in their base forms. Now, the transformation part of it into Super Saiyan God, which both Vegeta and Goku can do, turns their hair red. Now, I know when you mix red with yellow, you don't get blue Red and yellow gives you orange. So it's like, okay, well, where does the blue come from? That's where the kind of the loophole stuff comes in. But you don't really see. Well, we've seen Vegeta use it. We saw Goku use the red form in the Tournament of Power. Now in Super Saiyan, in the red form, they're able to. I want to say it's easier for them to control their ki. Vegeta talked about it in the manga a little bit. We know the manga differs from the anime, and in the manga, Vegeta actually did use Super Saiyan God, the red-haired form, in against Goku Black now. So it just didn't happen in the anime, but you know, in the manga it happened. Super Saiyan Blue is stacking the yellow on top of the blue. Now it's weird, you know, going deep down into that, saying how can you stack two transformations? Super Saiyan God is, in my opinion, not necessarily a transformation per se. We know from the anime and from the manga that Super Saiyan God is more or less just being able to completely master control of your ki. This was destined to be, because all the way back in Dragon Ball Z, Goku and them learned how to mask or hide their ki. They've always had the ability that a lot of these other fighters didn't have. Aside from the androids, you couldn't detect their ki anyway. But even to this day, Frieza doesn't even know how to hide or mask his ki, you know, even in his regular form. So one person, you have to be mindful of that this, and Vegeta learned it. I don't know how. It doesn't talk about it, doesn't show it, but Vegeta was somehow able to learn how to hide his power level, you see. Now Super Saiyan God is mastery of your power, of your ki. We's taught Vegeta and Goku that, telling them, don't, you know, your ki is seeping out. You have to maintain your ki within you. And when Goku and Vegeta was in the room, they could not move because their ki was leaking out and preventing them from moving. So once they learned how to hold it in and not let it seep out, then they were able to move. And that's when they was fighting and they collided fists, and boom, it was the foreshadowing of Super Saiyan Blue. So Super Saiyan God is the maintaining or mastery of that ki. It's not exclusive to God. This is something that anybody could learn and master. As Vegeta and Goku did. Now it takes a special individual, of course, but they were able to do it. Goku Black was even able to do it, but he called his Super Saiyan Rose. Why? Though he had Goku's body, there's just something special about the Saiyans as warriors being able to do these things. Now, Super Saiyan is a rage transformation. Goku was rage. Vegeta was rage. Gohan was rage. Goten was even raged. Kaba in the Universe 6, Universe 7 arc was raged. Now, when he taught it to Caulifla, she didn't rage. Kaba somehow figured out that you don't have to necessarily be raged to go Super Saiyan. He just thought about the energy in the back and stuff like that, and that is actually true to Ki in the real world in a sense. But she was able to go Super Saiyan that way. But everybody else, it was a rage transformation. Vegeta angered Kaba, and that's what led him to go Super Saiyan. Super Saiyan is a rage transformation. Super Saiyan 2, same thing. You know, being able to go to the next level. Gohan was rage. That's what broke him through. And in the movie, this is a minor spoiler, what did Frieza do to push Broly over the edge? He created a rage situation. Super Saiyan is rage. Now you may say, okay, well, if blue is, I see where you're going, Andre. If blue is the control of ki and yellow is the rage, then you put those together and then you have green. So if Broly and Kale was green, that means they were able to completely control their ki. That's where another loophole comes in, because they weren't. They were savages. They were just rampage. It was just rage mode. You see what I'm saying? But then Caulifla calmed Kale down, you know, in that mode. Broly, he was just on rampage mode. So he didn't have, I mean, he wasn't just destroying everything, but if somebody got in his way, he was destroying them. Just like those Zorus, they completely lose themselves. However, you know, it's said that they lose themselves. However, we know that people like Vegeta and Nappa was able to maintain themselves in that form. When Vegeta was Ozaru, Vegeta had complete control of himself. Nappa did as well. It was Gohan and Goku who didn't have control of themselves because they didn't go to that form often. Vegeta and them some way back in Dragon Ball Z learned how to control that, and it had a lot to do with their power level, their fighting experience, and their prowess. You see what I'm saying? Broly was not able to control that form. He was just anything that got in his way. You see what I'm saying? So I believe that it is a combination of the two in a sense, because there is a tremendous amount of ki, but that ki is unleashed. So, you know, there's loopholes in it. But for Vegeta and Goku, I think that them being able to master their ki, control their ki while tapping into or unleashing their full rage is could potentially lead to that green form. Now, continuing on, green. Why green? Why? And Vegeta talked about Broly with the green form, you know, saying that it's, I mean, Paragus talked about it with Broly, you know, talking about those Zaru and stuff like that. And Vegeta alluding to Kale in the Tournament of Power, saying with the green waves or the green power energy, the green hair and stuff like that, and that form, saying that it could be their true form. Now, this is an image from Dragon Ball GT when Vegeta went Super Saiyan 4, which was in GT the Saiyan's ultimate form, their true form. Okay, Blunt's waves is what they use. What are Blunt's waves? Blunt's waves are defined as the following: an energy source emitted by large celestial bodies, such as a full moon or the Earth, when it reflects rays of sunlight. They are alternately called Brutus waves, Frutus waves, or green spectrum radiation. It's not just the moon that can cause them to do this. It's whenever sunlight reflects off of a celestial body. Somehow Bulma was able to create a machine that produced these things. And if you look at the wave in Dragon Ball GT, it is green. You're looking at it here. It is a shade of green. Goku went Super Saiyan 4. He transformed into Ozaru from looking at the light reflecting off of the Earth. Now, you may say, okay, well, Broly didn't, there was no moon or no reflection. He didn't see anything. It's another, just a Dragon Ball loophole. You know, there's just something a little bit different. But I'm saying, as far as Goku and Vegeta are concerned, where are they going with the green? Because they showed it for a reason, man. It was either an Easter egg to this, to Blunt's waves, people knowing that it's green waves, or it was a foreshadowing, just like when Goku was transforming, how he had the flash of Ultra Instinct going on. It is a flash of something to come, in my opinion. So I agree with them on that, because they alluded to it with Kale. They talked about it a little bit more in depth with Broly. Paragus did, talking about the Ozaru form and tapping into it without the transformation, because they don't have the tail. Goku and Vegeta no longer have their tails. Their tails aren't going to grow back. So what's going to happen is they're going to be able to tap into that Ozaru form. And once they're able to control it, this will birth a new form. Broly's hair isn't completely green. And I think probably because he's not in complete control. Vegeta, when he transformed and we saw that flash of green, it was more green than Broly's. And I think the reason why is because he was able, at that point, in that flash, Vegeta was in complete control of his ki. And the reason it went green first before it went yellow, because he was in complete control of his ki. But if he continued to tap into that, he would have went straight to Super Saiyan Blue. So he had to induce that little bit of rage, that feeling that allowed him to go Super Saiyan. So he's in control of his ki, and then he's powering up in a sense. And then he's like, I got to hit this rage to go Super Saiyan. But before that, it's a mixture of the two. That's the green, and then boom, I'm full rage, because they're going off an instinct of that feeling. If you ever listen to them talk about going Super Saiyan, they talk about that feeling. When Gohan went, Goku told him, remember that feeling, and that will help you transform into Super Saiyan. Vegeta, when he trained with Kaba, when he was working with Kaba in the tournament, he told him about that feeling. Kaba, when he told Caulifla, remember that feeling, and he was able to tap into it again. Kaba, when he went Super Saiyan the second time, he didn't have to rage himself out because he remembered that feeling. And while he wasn't enraged, he remembered the feeling of rage, and that's what led to the Super Saiyan transformation. Thus, when Vegeta was in the movie, he was controlling his ki because they're just used to doing that now and tapping into that rage, thus the flash of green. And then completely giving himself to that feeling going into Super Saiyan. And now once he's Super Saiyan, he can control that ki. It's just a different form. Now they will eventually learn to put the two together, because you say, well, why didn't Vegeta do that in the Tournament of Power? Vegeta's getting close, because when Vegeta went Super Saiyan Blue Ascended, what happened? He was motivated, but it wasn't off of rage. It was off of a strong emotion. And he was able to go a step further. Something is going to happen where they are going to be Super Saiyan Blue and they are going to lose themselves in rage. Thus the transformation. That's my opinion. Now, if you look at Broly, look at the eyes. When Broly transformed before he went Super Saiyan, his eyes were gold and his pupil was still black. So the pupil is black while the iris is gold. If you look at Goku and Vegeta in their Super Saiyan forms at the top, look at the eyes the same way. Now that could just be an Easter egg to Super Saiyan 4, or it could be a sign of things to come. Not saying that the next Super Saiyan level will look like it did in GT. I don't think that it will. However, look at Broly's hair. Look at Broly's hair. It's stuck up in that form. People call it false Super Saiyan or whatever the case may be. It's a precursor of things to come. You see? Now, when Broly completely lost it, what happened to his eyes? They were completely white, just like Trunks was in rage mode, just like Kale was in rage mode, just like Goku eyes have even been like that before. When he fought Lord Slug in the false Super Saiyan form, his eyes were white. Whenever their eyes are pure white, they are not in control. That's a sign of them not being in control. So what happens when you reach that pinnacle of power and you get in control? A new form is born. We haven't seen that yet. Kale snapped back in the Tournament of Power, but she didn't. People say, well, what about Kale? Kale didn't snap back. Yes, her hair was still kind of like that, but she wasn't bulky and muscular like she was in that same form. But what happened? Once they started back fighting, she tapped back into that. So she still hasn't even mastered that yet. Who's going to be able to do that? Goku and Vegeta. Why? Because they already have the ability to not only master their ki, but to control it and keep it inside. They will be the ones to show us the true form. And I think Goku fighting with Broly in between time is going to help as well. We're going to have to see what happens. What do y'all think down in the comment section down below? Let me know what y'all think. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Hit the like button or the dislike button. And like I said, y'all, we're going to see. I like the way that they were going with that with Geekdom and Kendamu. It's very, very interesting. And when I was listening to that and I heard green, I immediately thought about the color spectrum wheel that yellow and blue makes green. And with Goku and Vegeta showing that flash, I don't think it was just an animation thing. I think that it is literally something to look forward to going to in Dragon Ball with Goku and Vegeta in the next level of Super Saiyan. That's all I got for right now. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Till next time, thanks for watching. Peace.